Hey everyone, this is Six-Path Weeb. Welcome back to the channel. Today's fanfic story is What if Naruko led Marvel's next generation of heroes? Part 2. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer. The content on this channel is made for entertainment and discussion purposes only. I do not own any anime footage, music, or copyrighted material used in the videos. Full rights and credits belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. Now, without wasting any more time, let's begin. Spider-Man stared at the young Hispanic hero with wide eyes full of amazement. Not only had they explored a mysterious island filled with dinosaurs, but this hero could actually transform into them. That is so awesome! Spider-Man exclaimed excitedly. You can turn into any dinosaur? He could not help feeling a little jealous. Turning into dinosaurs was the kind of power every adventurous kid dreamed about. White Tiger grinned and nodded in agreement. Okay, now that was amazing, she said. She had read books about dinosaurs and watched plenty of movies, but seeing one up close was completely different. Watching someone transform into one was even more incredible. Iron Fist bowed respectfully to Reptile. How long have you been here? He asked kindly. Reptile rubbed the back of his neck. I'm not really sure. Since I was about 5, I guess. Wolverine crossed his arms. Have you noticed anything unusual around here lately? Reptile smirked a little. Besides dinosaur people? He joked. Then his expression became thoughtful. Actually, yeah. For the past few weeks, I've seen groups carrying lots of crates through the jungle. And I spotted a strange man I've never seen before. Spider-Man immediately became serious. Did he have a metal arm? Reptile nodded. Spider-Man glanced toward Wolverine and White Wolf. Looks like we found our guy. Both heroes nodded, though they still needed to locate him. Thankfully, Wolverine's tracking skills would help. Reptile raised an eyebrow carefully. Is he your friend? As he spoke, his legs transformed into strong velociraptor legs. Everyone tensed for a moment except Wolverine, who calmly stepped forward. Easy there, Dino Kid, Wolverine said. We're not with him. We're trying to bring him back to the mainland. White Wolf nodded. Wolverine is right. We're here to stop Clawa from stealing vibranium. Reptile blinked. Vibranium? It is a rare metal that belongs to Wakanda, White Wolf explained. If you help us find him, we would be very grateful. Reptile's dinosaur legs shifted back to normal, and everyone relaxed. Spider-Man quietly sighed with relief. Fighting someone who could become a giant dinosaur sounded far too difficult. Soon, Reptile led the team deeper into the jungle toward Sauron's territory. Naruko walked beside him curiously. What can you tell us about Sauron? She asked. Reptile explained everything he knew. He spoke about Sauron's strange powers and how he could absorb energy. He also shared the sad story of losing her parents long ago. The heroes listened quietly with understanding. Many of them knew what it felt like to lose someone important. As they traveled, Naruko suddenly slowed her pace. We're being watched, she whispered. Spider-Man's senses tingled immediately. Wolverine also glanced toward the trees. Without warning, several jungle mutates leapt from the branches above, shouting loudly as they surrounded the heroes. Spider-Man quickly fired webs into the trees and swung safely out of the way. White Tiger ducked under flying darts while Iron Fist stepped forward calmly. Everybody stay together. Iron Fist called. One mutate charged toward White Tiger, but Reptile transformed into a pterodactyl and swooped down, lifting the creature harmlessly away before setting it safely on the ground far from the group. Another rocky-looking mutate stomped toward the heroes. Carnage stretched her symbiote powers into giant shields, blocking falling debris so nobody got hurt. Nice teamwork. White Tiger said with a grin. Naruko smiled proudly. We've got this. The heroes worked carefully together, using teamwork instead of trying to hurt anyone. Spider-Man wrapped several mutates gently in webs to keep them from fighting. Iron Fist used quick movements to knock away weapons without injuring anyone. White Tiger leapt between trees with incredible speed, helping protect her friends. Meanwhile, Reptile transformed into a huge dinosaur and let Wolverine climb onto her back so they could scout ahead through the jungle canopy. Wolverine sniffed the air and grinned. We're getting close. Spider-Man shook his head with a smile. He is definitely enjoying this way too much. White Tiger laughed softly. No doubt about that. The jungle was thick with giant plants, colorful birds, and distant dinosaur calls. Even though it was dangerous, it was also strangely beautiful. Iron Fist smiled at the group. Wolverine is a hunter. Exploring places like this probably feels natural to him. Spider-Man sighed dramatically. I still can't believe he's an Avenger. White Tiger and Iron Fist chuckled. Carnage walked beside Spider-Man and gave him an encouraging pat on the shoulder. You know, I think you'll become an Avenger someday too. You're smart, brave, and you never give up. Spider-Man's eyes widened behind his mask. Really? Of course, Naruko said warmly. People like heroes who help others, and that's exactly what you do. White Tiger raised an eyebrow playfully. You sound like you know Iron Man pretty well. Naruko smiled mysteriously as the team continued deeper into the jungle, ready for whatever adventure waited ahead. Well, I was a SHIELD agent, so I met Captain America a few times. I even teamed up with him on some missions, said Carnage. The young hero stared at her with amazement. Captain America was known across the world as a brave and kind hero who always helped others. Even heroes from different teams admired him greatly. Can we meet her someday? Asked White Tiger excitedly. Wolverine chuckled softly, crossing her arms with a grin. Fangirls, she teased. I fought beside Captain America during the war. Everyone turned toward Wolverine in shock. How old are you? Spider-Man asked with wide eyes. Wolverine smirked. Older than you think, kid. I've been around for a long time. But enough chatting. We've got work to do. She extended her shining claws with a confident smile. Reptile sniffed the air carefully before turning toward White Wolf. We're getting close. I can smell them, she said. White Wolf nodded seriously. The kid's right. Claw is nearby, and Sauron is with him too. Spider-Man looked around the thick jungle carefully. Wolverine, White Wolf, can you scout ahead? She asked. We don't know what else is hiding out here. The two warriors nodded and dashed into the trees with incredible speed. Reptile transformed her arms into the wings of a Dimorphodon and soared into the sky. Below her, the others hurried through the jungle. White Tiger leapt from branch to branch while Carnage and Spider-Man swung through the trees with their webs. Iron Fist glanced at Reptile with a thoughtful smile. Our new friend is very talented. White Tiger raised an eyebrow. Are you thinking about inviting her to New York with us? Only if she wants to come, Iron Fist replied kindly. What do you think, Spider-Man? Spider-Man smiled beneath her mask. I think we should ask her. If she wants to stay in the Savage Land, that's okay too. Suddenly Spider-Man froze. Her spider sense buzzed loudly. Reptile, look out. A powerful sonic blast shot through the air and struck Reptile. She tumbled from the sky, but Carnage quickly caught her before she hit the ground. Everyone turned toward the attacker. Hovering above them was a robotic pteranodon with glowing eyes. Spider-Man quickly grabbed Iron Fist and swung her forward. Iron Fist struck the machine with a glowing punch, sending it crashing into the jungle floor. Carnage used her tendrils to safely pull Iron Fist back down. Spider-Man stared at the broken robot dinosaur. Okay. Were robot dinosaurs always a thing here? Reptile shook her head. No. Never. Carnage examined the machine carefully. Claw helped build this. It's covered in vibranium. Spider-Man nodded. Then Sauron definitely didn't make these alone. White Tiger folded her arms. So now we have mutants, robot dinosaurs, Claw, and Sauron. Great. I think we should expect more surprises, Iron Fist said calmly. Reptile flew high above the trees again to scout ahead. Moments later she returned, looking worried. They're close, she said. And Sauron has some kind of giant suit. Spider-Man tilted her head. Why would she need a power suit? Carnage shrugged. I don't know, but it can't be good. The heroes rushed forward faster than before. As they traveled, Reptile explained more about Sauron. She always wants to rule the Savage Land. Sometimes she absorbs energy from others to become stronger. Spider-Man's eyes widened. She can absorb powers? Reptile nodded sadly. Yes. She's even copied mutant abilities before. White Tiger gasped. Then she might try to steal Wolverine's healing power. We need to hurry, Carnage said immediately. Reptile transformed into a large flying dinosaur and carried Iron Fist through the air. Spider-Man picked up White Tiger and swung after them. Soon they reached a massive clearing filled with robot dinosaurs and strange machines. Wolverine and White Wolf were already battling the robots. Carnage launched a tendril forward, helping Spider-Man swing high into the air. White Tiger leapt gracefully downward, knocking one of the enemies off balance. Spider-Man webbed the legs of a charging dinosaur robot together, sending it tumbling harmlessly onto the ground. Time for a break, metalhead, she joked. Another enemy tried to sneak up behind her, but White Tiger stopped him with an electric whip. "Nice teamwork," Spider-Man said proudly. Nearby, White Tiger activated her new shield flame claws. Bright streams of harmless fire burst from the claws and disabled another robot dinosaur. "These gadgets are amazing," she cheered. Suddenly a flying robot grabbed White Tiger and lifted her into the air. Before she could fall, Reptile swooped down and caught her safely. "Thanks, Reptile," White Tiger said with a grin. "You're welcome." Together they dove toward Claw. White Tiger landed with a strong kick that knocked the villain backward while Reptile pinned down one of the robots. But Claw quickly fired another sonic blast, sending Reptile rolling across the ground. White Tiger hurried to help her friend. "Reptile." "I'm okay," Reptile groaned as she stood back up. Meanwhile, Wolverine faced one of the strongest mutants in the clearing. The mutant laughed proudly. "Nobody can stop me." "Oh really?" Wolverine replied with a confident grin. Using her speed and skill, Wolverine quickly disarmed the mutant and sent him stumbling away. White Wolf jumped into battle nearby, protecting Wakandan technology from being stolen. At the center of the clearing, Sauron spread her massive wings and roared. Carnage leapt into action immediately. She slammed Sauron's giant suit with a powerful symbiote hammer, knocking the villain backward. "Need a hand?" Carnage asked Wolverine. Wolverine stood up, brushing dirt from her jacket. "I'm fine. But let's finish this together." The heroes gathered side by side, ready to protect the Savage Land as a team. Naruko gave a confident grin as bright orange chakra swirled around her. "All right, Featherbrain, round 2, she declared playfully. Across the battlefield, the towering Sauron spread his massive wings and let out a roar. Beside Naruko stood Wolverine, stretching his claws with determination, while Carnage adjusted her gear and checked the gadgets attached to her belt. The moment Sauron charged forward, the heroes sprang into action. Carnage fired several energy rounds to distract him, but Sauron's shimmering vibranium armor absorbed most of the blasts. In response, he launched glowing beams from his hands, sending streaks of light across the sky. Naruko quickly formed shadow clones, and together they dodged the attacks with impressive teamwork. Carnage transformed one of her symbiote-covered arms into a curved blade and rushed in, but Sauron breathed a wave of fire toward her. Naruko reacted instantly. Long chakra arms burst from her back and pulled Carnage safely away before the flames could reach her. Meanwhile, Wolverine charged straight ahead without hesitation. Even the heat could not stop him. He leapt forward and struck Sauron square in the chest, sending the winged villain tumbling backward across the ground. Sauron stared in amazement as Wolverine's injuries healed almost instantly. "Remarkable," he muttered. Naruko crossed her arms and smirked. "You should know better than to underestimate heroes." Sauron growled and flew toward Wolverine again, hoping to steal his healing abilities. But before he could succeed, a spinning shuriken zipped through the air and bonked him on the head. "Oops, my hand slipped," Naruko teased. Sauron turned just in time to see Carnage rushing at him with glowing combat knives. Her symbiote suit shimmered as she attacked, but Sauron's armor suddenly glowed blue, releasing a loud sound wave that forced the symbiote to retreat. Carnage stumbled backward, covering her ears. "Okay. That was unpleasant," she groaned. Naruko quickly created another shadow clone that tossed a smoke pellet at Sauron's feet. While the villain was distracted, Wolverine dashed forward and slashed across Sauron's armor. At that moment, Reptile swooped down from above in the form of a giant pterodactyl. "Need some help?" he called. "You're just in time," Naruko replied brightly. Sauron roared angrily and fired another blast, knocking Reptile back. The young hero transformed again, this time into a powerful dinosaur with a heavy club tail. With a mighty swing, he cracked Sauron's armor and sent the villain stumbling. Naruko's eyes lit up with excitement. "Awesome move." Working together, the heroes surrounded Sauron from every direction. Shadow clones distracted him, Carnage tangled his legs with symbiote tendrils, Wolverine kept him busy up close, and Reptile shifted forms again and again to block attacks and protect his teammates. Finally, Naruko formed a glowing Rasengan in her hand. "Team combo time," she shouted. Wolverine launched himself upward, Carnage used her tendrils like a slingshot, and Reptile rammed forward in dinosaur form. At the perfect moment, Naruko leapt high into the air and pressed the Rasengan gently but firmly into Sauron's armor. A burst of swirling energy sent the villain spinning harmlessly into a pile of broken rocks. Dizzy and exhausted, Sauron groaned once before fainting completely. For a moment, the battlefield became quiet. Then a familiar voice called out, "Looks like you all had fun without me." Everyone turned to see Spider-Man dangling upside down from a web. Nearby, Claw had already been wrapped tightly in webs, his sound weapon safely broken into pieces. "Nice timing," Wolverine said with a grin. Spider-Man dropped beside the group and gave Reptile a thumbs up. "You were amazing out there." Reptile's face brightened. "Really?" "Definitely," said White Tiger as she joined them. "You stayed brave and helped everyone." Iron Fist nodded respectfully. "A true hero protects others first." Reptile smiled shyly while Naruko placed a hand on his shoulder. "You did great out there," she said warmly. "You're part of the team anytime." Spider-Man extended his hand. "What do you say? Want to join us?" Reptile shook his hand eagerly. "Absolutely." The heroes laughed together as the sun began to rise over the city. After a long adventure filled with teamwork, courage, and friendship, everyone knew they could face whatever challenges came next, as long as they faced them together. Time skip. The young heroes sat together inside the classroom aboard the great flying helicarrier. The newest member of the team, Reptile, still looked amazed every time the giant ship hummed through the clouds outside the windows. Getting Reptile used to the modern world had not been easy. Earlier that week, she had accidentally crushed 2 parking meters and dented a delivery truck while practicing her dinosaur powers. Thankfully, nobody had been hurt, but the repairs had still caused plenty of headaches. At the front of the room stood Naruko, smiling warmly as she crossed her arms. Her bright blonde hair swayed slightly as she spoke to the class. "All right, everyone, listen up," she said. "I'm sure all of you have already heard complaints about property damage." Several of the young heroes groaned at once. "But it's not our fault," shouted Nova as she floated upside down near the ceiling. Naruko laughed softly. "I know it's usually an accident. Still, regular people can get nervous when a flying hero lands on their car by mistake. Being a hero means helping people and taking responsibility when things go wrong too." The room became quieter after that. "We thought maybe we needed some advice," Naruko continued, "so I invited someone very special to help teach today's lesson." The classroom door slid open. In walked a tall emerald-skinned woman wearing a confident smile and carrying a stack of folders under one arm. Several students stared in surprise. Naruko grinned proudly. "Everyone, this is She-Hulk, also known as Jennifer Walters. She's an Avenger, an excellent lawyer, and my girlfriend." The room exploded with reactions. Both Spider-Man and Nova dropped dramatically to their knees. "We are not worthy," Nova declared. Spider-Man nodded quickly. "Teach us your secrets, Naruko." Naruko burst into laughter while She-Hulk covered her mouth, trying not to laugh too loudly herself. "Are they always this dramatic?" She-Hulk asked with an amused grin. "Sometimes they're even sillier," Naruko replied cheerfully. Across the room, White Tiger shook her head with a small smile. "Heroes," she muttered. "Always trying to impress somebody." The class soon settled down as She-Hulk began teaching everyone about responsibility, teamwork, and how being a hero also meant caring for the people around them. Even Reptile listened carefully, taking notes for the very first time. By the end of the lesson, the young heroes understood something important. True strength was not just about powers. It was also about kindness, honesty, and learning from mistakes. Dear YouTube family, that's all for now. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Thank you for your support. Regards. 6 Path Weeb.